I will bring our September 17th, 8 o'clock agenda briefing to order. I'll call the meeting order at 9. Wayne's got the invocation. I have the Pledge of Allegiance. We go to discussions on adjustments of the agenda. Approval of minutes from the August 20th meeting, and then we go to special presentations, presentation of employee anniversary pins. First on our,
We do have an adjustment of the agenda.
already?
Yeah, one Walcom, which is the funding agreement for the renovations of Rosewood Middle School. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Where's that gonna be at?
That would need to be under
New business.
new
New
business.
business. All right, so that'll be 21. That'll be the funding agreement.
Yes,
There are 3 pieces.
yes, a funding agreement for the renovation of Rosewood Middle School.
Is it gonna be an action item?
Yeah, number 21 on new business.
I'm not gonna put the funding agreement on the screen because there were some late changes yesterday and I didn't have the opportunity to switch it out. So what you have in front of you is the most accurate, or what you will have in front of you is the most accurate.
Okay.
So all 3 pieces as one, or are we gonna be individual?
It's all one, it's all part of the funding.
All one
agreement.
thing?
Yes, those are just, tabulation sheets of
Thank you, ma'am.
our cost schedules.
So we're,
Thank you.
well, we get to that in a minute already. Is anything else on the adjustments?
Oh, yes, we're under consent, remove item 12, a motion to approve a resolution adopting a policy to prohibit the viewing of pornography on county networks and devices in accordance with North Carolina General Statute 143-805. We'll remove that for today.
I'm sorry, I was reading the funding agreement. What'd you say?
Remove item 12 off your consent, which is the motion to
We
approve
put-
a resolution to prohibit pornography.
We putting it somewhere else, or,
Just gonna have, needs to be
Delay it.
modified a little.
sir?
Needs to be modified a little.
Oh, okay.
It'll
Gotcha.
come back before you at a later
I
date.
got you. All right. Anything else?
That's it.
All right, we got a special presentations, number 3, presentation of employee anniversary pins. Number 4, presentation of the September Wayne County Hero Spotlight by Jay's Kitchen. I guess they'll be here.
That is correct.
Presentation of, check by Wayne County ABC Board General Manager Darnay Barefoot, and Darnay will be here for that. Motion to approve the 2024 Senior Center Month Proclamation that's presented by Service on Aging Director Paula Edwards. And we'll go to, consent agenda and budget amendments. Before we do that, we got the paper out there for the public comments?
Yes, is that the?
Yes, sir.
All right. Budget amendments.
While she's pulling that up, we're going to start with 2. It's our final 2 budget amendments from the previous fiscal year. The first one is number 632. This is to reimburse the general fund for monies that were advanced for the Fremont Elementary School Capital Project Fund. Number 633. This is to move DSS and Health Department prior year expenditures to the correct fund. Now we'll move into fiscal year 24-25. The first budget amendment, number 46. A customer redeemed their dog. It was picked up as a stray. Animal control picked it up, and emergency medical attention had to be attended to. The funds were received from the customer to repay for the bill for the animal. Number 54, this is Services on Aging. This is a decrease in their 3D Health Promotion Funds allocated for the 24-25 fiscal year in the amount of $1,233. Number 57, this is for the Sheriff's Department. This is to move funds from the repairs and maintenance to the seized property vehicle line for an insurance claim that was paid for an accident involving a seized property vehicle in the amount of $26,236.29.
That'd be total.
Number 60, this is for the Health Department. This is to reappropriate revenue that was received in the previous year for their minority diabetes prevention from Pitt County Health Department to cover an expense that occurred in June on a purchase card that was processed in 24-25 in the amount of $1,841.56. Number 61, this is also the Health Department. This is to allocate funds that have been received for the communicable disease pandemic recovery to their professional services lab line item in the amount of $32,388. Number 67 is for the Sheriff's Office. This is to appropriate funds that were received from an insurance claim for Officer Brendan Rouse's vehicle and to move those funds from repairs and maintenance to capital outlay.
I know he's got a lot of vehicles, but I'll be daggone if they don't wreck a lot of them too.
I agree, it just seems.
Number 72, this is for Cooperative Extension and 4-H. This is to move the budget for the Farmers Market booth rental to Fund 110 from 117. This is to place the funding source where the expenses were already budgeted. Number 74, this is for the Health Department. This is to allocate an agreement addendum for ARP, Temporary Savings Fund for Public Health Services, in the amount of $53,869. Number 75 is for the library. The purpose of this budget amendment is to accept grant funds from the Wayne County Public Library Foundation in support of their Learning Studio tutoring site in the amount of $51,840. Number 76 is for the Facilities Department. This is to move money and to appropriate funds for repairs and maintenance for Oscar's work van that was hit in an accident. Number 77, this is from the Board of Commissioners line items. This is to appropriate additional funds needed in the amount of $6,040 to cover the ECC dues that were budgeted for fiscal year 24-25.
They went up on those, correct?
Yes, sir, they did.
I think it's been 19 years since they had a dues fee increase.
Right.
Number 79, this is for IT. This is a request to appropriate ARP funds to purchase tablets and Cradle Point antennas for EMS ambulances in the amount of $99,795.24.
Had that already been budgeted?
We're requesting to budget that.
So these are recaptured funds? ARPA funds?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Number 80 is for EMS. This is to appropriate funds that were received from insurance refunds in the amount of $8,152.18 to repair damaged doors for EMS Medic 4 station.
Would it back into them?
Hit the brake, hit the gas pedal instead of the brake pedal.
John Street, I think, probably.
That happened at my house about a month ago.
Oh, really?
I won't drive in there.
And you probably ain't gonna get that cooked to eat tonight either after that
You're
conversation.
not gonna have anything to eat.
Go ahead, before Wayne gets himself in trouble again.
Quickly.
The final budget amendment is number 82. This is for the library. This is to appropriate expenses and revenues from the town of Fremont for their reimbursement of the town, the Northern Library Town tax.
Art? But the town of Fremont is also providing utilities, is that correct?
Yes, sir, I believe so.
Yep. Supposed
Supposed to
to, yeah. All of the above. All right. That it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody got any questions on what we just talked about on budget amendments? Or any further questions, I should say. All right, number 8, late elderly disabled exemption applications, they've been vetted. Number 9, late disabled veteran, exemption application has been vetted.
Yes, sir.
Number 10, motion to approve the final plat of Durock Ridge, is that right? Durock Ridge subdivision, Mr. Berry. Good morning.
Yeah, Durock Ridge is a final plat. This is actually a road front subdivision, so there's no new street. This is out on Paul Hare Road out in the Grantham community. They're proposing 13 lots. Those lots, if you look closely, you'll see shared driveways in between them. So DOT has reviewed it and has approved this with the shared driveways. They have installed a fire hydrant to serve these lots as well. The average lot size is 40,200 square feet, and the planning board has reviewed and recommends approval.
Anybody got any questions? All
I'm
right,
trying to pull the map up.
just right there on your big screen right there.
Okay, all right.
All right, number 11, motion to approve the final plat for Yara Village subdivision.
Okay, this Yara Village is a preliminary plat, so this is the start of the process. Of course, nothing is on the ground at this point. They will come back later with final plats for this. There are 33 lots with this subdivision out on Stony Creek Church Road. It is right next to Lake and Heath subdivision, which is Lancashire Drive, if you're familiar with that, kind of halfway between 111 or Paytown Road and Wayne Memorial Drive in that segment of Stony Creek Church Road. The average lot size here is fairly large. It's about 79,000 square feet. They do have some larger lots there in the back. Planning Board has reviewed this request and does recommend approval.
Anybody got any questions?
There's a pond?
Yeah, that's the old, yeah.
Yeah, it's an old man-made pond.
Yeah, yeah. There's one there and one on the other side of, see. Any questions? More questions? Good?
Excuse me, just a second. So, are they creating a homeowners association to maintain the pond, or what provisions are they having for the pond?
The pond itself will be on the individual, let me pull it up here.
That pond is
It's
existing,
actually,
Yeah, it would be actually part of the lots, so it would be,
individual type action.
the individual property owners.
Where's the pond at, Chris?
Right there,
Right here?
yeah.
but you could see some issues there if you don't have some type of, if one person is not gonna maintain his portion of the pond, are they considering a homeowners association?
More than likely, most subdivisions nowadays do have homeowners associations.
They have to have something in, for the agreement of maintenance of the streets,
Right.
so.
That would just be
It-
added
It
to.
doesn't, it doesn't detail specifics of the pond or how they would maintain that, but.
But their lot goes into the pond, correct?
does.
It does.
So each lot would
Privately
actually be
owned.
responsible,
We
privately
were
owned.
responsible for,
Right.
right.
the landowners that own part of it would all.
No different than Walnut Creek, no different than
Right.
out at Lane Tree on the, what do you call it?
Yeah.
Not Lane Tree, but Father Road.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, sir. Remove number 12, go to number 13, that's on your agenda, motion to adopt resolution 24-26, resolution declaring surplus real property located at 404 Magnolia Street. Mr. Andrew Neal.
Good morning.
Good
This is a foreclosure from earlier this year. It did not sell at auction, so retained ownership with the city and the county. We received an offer from Community Technical Assistance Incorporated to purchase it for $4,735. That's half the tax value. Tax value is $9,470. And all the adjoining property owners have been notified of the upset bid process and what they need to do to upset that bid if they want to. There's only actually 2 adjoining property owners. Several parcels, but only 2 separate owners.
All right, any questions?
Has this been approved by the city?
No, it came to us first. So if you all approve it, then it would have to go over to the city for approval.
Do you have any idea of background of Community Technical Assistance?
I know it's run by a reverend. He's purchased several properties, surplus properties from the county and the city here recently.
So we have a history with it? Okay.
Sometimes he comes to us first, sometimes he goes to the cities first, but he regularly bids on foreclosure properties as well.
And I apologize, I didn't finish reading it, it was on the second page. So I need the PIN number is 350-916-1449 to Community Technical Assistance Incorporated, authorizing its sale. So apologize for that.
But yes, it would need to go to the city after this.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, sir. Next on our consent is motion to approve Wayne County ABC Board Resolution. And that's something that,
Board resolution for ABC board, do you know anything?
yeah, I got
Sorry, I
it.
wasn't here.
That's fine, I got it right here. It basically in essence is a resolution to increase the board members' pay from $150 per month to $300 per month.
Yes, I remember that.
Oh, that's basically what it is. And there's the man right there.
And it's money, it's not county money.
Right,
It's
it's
ABC.
money that comes through the ABC that's generated through alcohol sales, that's what, yep,
Yeah, increasing their pay from 150 to 300.
yep.
Just had one question.
All right.
Could you answer us in regards to how long it's been 150?
Commissioner Dockett, I went back looking and it's been 150 as long as I could find before my time.
Right.
I did a comparison around the state and they do a lot for that 150.
Oh, yeah. So it's probably in decades it's been 150.
It's been at least that. I know I came here when, all right. Any consideration would greatly be appreciated.
That's when you were here on the enforcement side.
And the enforcement side.
All right, thank you.
The great thing about it is, it comes through our money we earn, not any tax.
Gotcha. All right, thank you, sir. Any other questions? All right, moving on to new business, motion to approve resolution accepting a community project funding grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to construct an EMS station on Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. That's the one that Chip and Andrew and several of us have worked on to secure funds from Senator Tillis's.
Correct.
We owe a debt of gratitude to a former staff member, Adam Caldwell, for spearheading it. He's since moved on to private sector. But Grayson Overholt has actually took his spot, so he's kind of helping us, but
Project serves twofold. It's in our busiest EMS district. It would divide that district into two districts, basically.
right.
And then it would also help the response times on to the base at Seymour Johnson, which was the goal of Seymour Johnson's.
Right.
So,
So the survey portion has been
They're working on
complete?
it, yes,
Oh,
sir.
Okay, all right. All right, any questions? All right, number 16, motion to approve task order number 8 with CDM Smith Incorporated for an environmental assessment for Seymour Johnson Air Force Base EMS Station, Station 12, with appropriate budget amendment, and that's just to kind of keep things moving.
That's the
Yes.
environmental assessment
Right.
part of that project.
All right, any questions? Number 17, motion to approve a consulting contract for fiscal year 24-25 between the County of Wayne, City of Goldsboro, Friends of Seymour, and Crossroads Strategies. This is an updated agreement with our consultant that we've contracted with for Seymour Johnson through the county, city.
It's just a formality
Right.
of signing this year's contract.
Got it. It's already been budgeted
Yeah.
for.
Monies were appropriate
Right.
that we budgeted, yep.
All right, any questions? All right, number 18, motion to approve resolution approving a change to the rules of procedure for the Wayne County Board of Commissioners.
That will keep one commissioner from moving things off of the consent agenda.
Got it,
4 of you can still change anything you want to.
got it. Any questions?
Is that during what we're doing now? We made the changes now, but once the board meeting
You make 'em
starts?
when you start on the first approving the agenda. Done then.
At the 9 o'clock meeting.
Right, correct.
Yeah, 9
Okay,
o'clock
that's
meeting.
what I want to
Yeah,
make sure.
yeah.
So, further clarification, basically it's requiring a majority vote in order to move an item.
Yes, sir.
Or remove an item.
Yes, sir.
Or add an item.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, any other questions? Moving on to number 19, motion to approve a funding agreement for the renovation of Rosewood Middle School with the Wayne County Board of Education contingent on county attorney's approval. I guess that would be, is that different than what we've got?
If you, we can go over it during the meeting. if
That's
you
fine,
prefer.
just go that way everybody's here.
Okay.
I mean, you can, unless you want to brief us on it.
Well, just to clarify, just real quick, so there's actually 2 action items that's in front of you. One would be the funding agreement, we can go over that at 9
Right.
o'clock. And then the second one would be the pre-bid, or the early package.
Is that the
they're
one we're
asking.
talking about right now, the pre-bid? Or is
No,
that-
so it's the funding agreement would be the first action, and then your demolition and some early package.
Okay, so
GMPs.
let me, okay, let's wait just a minute. We have motion to approve a funding agreement. So the funding agreement is the one that we've got, that we're talking about right now.
Correct.
Okay, and the one that we're talking about, that one number 21, or is that number 20?
It would be,
Okay, I got a,
It's
so,
number 20.
be renumbered number 20, yeah.
okay, all right, go ahead, so the funding agreement.
So the funding agreement, and this is a result of the working group meeting that they held last week. So 3 commissioners that were in that meeting, feel free to chime in if I'm missing anything. But let me scroll down so I have it in front of me. The estimated cost of the project, and this is all included. So this would be architect fees, CMAR fees, furniture, everything. Right now, we're estimated at $37,314,000. If you recall, we have a $20 million grant that we received from the General Assembly, and then another, it was $7 million, but only 5.3 of that is a SCIF grant that we got. So there's a deficit between that, and Angie provided you a breakdown in one of the handouts that's in front of you as well. So my understanding from the meeting this past week is that the school board would be asking for the county to contribute up to $10 million. As either as pay-go, as debt finance, or if we secure another grant. And then any addition, the parties would work together to identify how to fund that, if there's any left over.
So let me ask you a question. Is there any way, or does the rules allow, any way to use some of their fund balances they taught, their ESSER funds left over? Is there any way to use some of that toward that?
I'm not
Overage.
familiar with ESSER funds. I don't know that can be used for new construction. We'd have to defer, but if there is fund balance there, they
So what can they use
certainly
it
would
for
be
then?
able to
If they
use
got,
that
they
for.
use it, in if that's what they've got as fund balance, what can they use it for, you know?
I'm not
Can we
familiar.
inquire?
We
See
can.
what they can and can't use it for?
They very likely could use it for any purpose that the board decides, because there's a fund balance.
Well, but I mean, but if it's left over, would
It
strings
has-
attached to it?
It has ties, it
Yeah.
has rules.
If it's ESSER funds, it would have rules.
But
what
they
they
ought to
can
be
use.
able to move funds that they have that could be used. for this,
Absolutely,
replace them. with-
agreed.
If they have unassigned fund balance, then yes, that could be used for this project.
So we need to find out, do we know how much our unassigned fund balance is? Yeah, we need to
And I,
find that
and I
out.
say unassigned because, you
Right.
know, they use their fund balance throughout the year because their funding sources come in at different times, so
Right.
it would have to be unassigned.
Do y'all agree, disagree?
I kind of, at this point, here's where we are. Whatever the situation is, they're up against a wall in regards to starting this project. For them to complete the project, to open the school in '26, they are going to have to start construction the first of the year. In order to do that, they need to pre-order some equipment that's got some lead time to it.
But that ain't got nothing to do with the funding agreement.
Well, just a moment. One, and secondly, they need to start the demolition. They need to go ahead and demo. So they're ready to actually start construction. Now, in regards to the funding agreement, what we're agreeing to is to fund up to $10 million. And those funds would be coming from borrowing and folding that into our funding agreement that we currently have with the schools, using their funds first before using any of our funds. So Davenport, again, has scheduled that out, and based upon, and you correct me, Angie, if I'm wrong here, based upon what Davenport has reported, the funds are there to carry a $10 million note. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So how much, what's the payment on that? Is it over 20 years, 30 years? What is the,
There's too many variables at this point, too many unknowns to be able to figure out which would be our best option for the borrowing, whether it would be limited obligation bonds or installment financing.
so I guess what I'm asking then is how much money out of pocket are we gonna have per year? We don't know that either then. Out of, as far as a $10 million spread out over X.
But we do have the capacity to handle a payment on a loan or bond.
And if I might, in talking with Davenport, Davenport is recommending that we not establish or borrow the monies now
Right.
because interest rates are projected to go down, and we would need to wait until the first quarter to actually borrow the dollars.
So we've got to have the money in place borrowed for total project cost before they start?
No,
No.
So then we can borrow it at the end, I mean, toward the end of the project, or whenever we see fit.
that's correct.
That's right.
That's
So,
correct.
so that goes into item number 2 that you're gonna be looking at, and that's the demolition and the early package. We would fund all that with the grant funds that we have in hand right now.
But that's like $2 million.
Right. So, I mean, there'd still be plenty left over.
So I mean, that's not I mean, $2 million to get started is one thing, but a $10 million overrun. So that $314,000, is the $37,314,000, is that including any and all issues, bad soil, the works?
That's all the allowances that they've scheduled so far.
So what kind of allowances have they got?
Ooh, what did they allow for bad soils? There was an allowance that was in there for bad soils.
I think in the overall estimates that I remember, it was $100,000.
$100,000.
100,000 ain't gonna touch bad soils if you got
That's
issues.
what it is on this sheet here,
But what I'm saying is $100,000 ain't gonna touch bad soils if you get into it.
in replace.
Well, what was the initial cost of that school?
Well, somebody come
32
up-
million?
From the first discussions, I think it was about 32 million at first.
But now, so now it's up to 37?
Correct.
Well, I know 32 was always, I think, the anticipated hard cost, construction cost.
Right.
Your
Well,
34 includes all your soft costs, CMAR fees.
And the other issue came in regards to the $3.2 million. And the three commissioners that were there representing the county agreed that for $3.2 million, which was alternative one, that we needed to go ahead and include that in this construction project because it would add 8 additional future classrooms.
I thought it was 1 point something.
It's 3.2 million. And we certainly felt like, now, I think originally when we were talking about it, it was in that range. However, they were recommending going ahead and actually completing them, finishing them out, having all the electrical, sheet rock, everything. So those classrooms would be ready to be moved into versus just the shell. Before, I think our conversation was just a shell.
That's correct.
So this 3.2 is these 8 classrooms would be constructed and would be ready to move, they're move-in ready.
So it's got area B here, acoustical ceiling, fire sprinkler. Well, let's back it. So are we good? How are we gonna approach this funding agreement? Do we need to put it off to the next meeting, or do we need to go ahead and do it now? On the, not the $2 million part to get things moving,
Right.
but on the funding part?
I would defer to the working group what the understanding was. My understanding is they wanted to move forward with the funding agreement and have a commitment for $10 million, but I would defer to,
So let me ask you this, if
How the
things
discussions went.
start to take a downturn as far as, material, labor costs and that type of thing, how are we gonna adjust that? If we come up with a $37 million today, and what you just alluded to, the interest rates are supposed to be going down, I mean, I don't know when they're supposed to make that, discussion, or this decision, but when things start going down, everything else is gonna go down with it. Do we, if we've agreed to $37 million today, how are we gonna?
Well, we're not agreeing, first of all, we're not agreeing to 37. What we're agreeing to is to a fund not to exceed $10 million. Now, as you can see, they're estimating cost at 37, there's 11.9. So basically, we're agreeing to fund up to 10 million, that's what they requested. But if it actually hit with these numbers, the schools would have to come up with the additional $2 million.
So that's everything on this sheet right here.
Correct.
yes, sir.
So, since they are in control of the budgeting as such, we wanted to get a top-end dollar amount. Since they had requested 10 million, we said we would provide up to $10 million. Anything over that, then we're gonna have to have further discussions.
Okay, so it says at the bottom down here, additional, it's got a big question mark on 2 things. Additional Daniels and Daniels site work costs to add alternate 1. That's not included. The question mark of escalation of cost, which I
think-
understand that
I think
part.
we agreed we didn't need to include the escalation.
I understand that. We do not.
We do not.
Okay, so so what about the site work costs to add alternate 1?
I believe,
I
when,
think that
what,
one way to look at this is when they'll have hard bids on it by the time we go to borrow money, so you'll know what your maximum price is gonna be anyway.
I thought it was a CMAR deal.
yeah, they're not in a position right now to give you a GMP on the
Yeah.
new construction yet. My understanding is that's coming
not
in the
far
next
enough
couple
I
of,
got you.
they're not far enough in the design and.
But by the time they do and it goes to bid, then you'll know your maximum dollar amount before you borrow.
And in order for us to try to accommodate their time schedule and get the project moving, that's why we said, let's put the top end dollar, what they requested, which was not to exceed $10 million, that will provide. If their bids come in and it's 8 million, then undoubtedly it's less than the 10 million. So for us to proceed on, we wanted to establish the top end figure. So we're only obligated to provide funding up to $10 million. If it actually, all this comes in and it's 37.5, then they're going to have to come up with the money for the difference. This, the only way we need to proceed on.
The other point that I would add too is we've drafted this in such a way that if more grant funds come through the state or what have you, that would lower the county's exposure. That would be applied to the 10 million. So any
Well-
grants would not be used to extend the scope of this project.
Whether they come to, through us or through the school system, they could be
Correct.
applied to this, okay.
I just got a comment, you know, I think this is probably the fifth or sixth new school we built since I've been on this board. And every single one of them has come in over what we were initially told. I mean, somebody needs to get their act together and we don't even need to be having this discussion today about the 10 million. I mean, they told us 32, now it's 37, and it's been that way on every school that we've built. I mean, it's just,
But what they're
somebody
saying,
don't know how to add two and two.
but what they're saying is they don't know what it's gonna cost because they ain't got the prices yet. They're just guessing. Where they'll be back at their best of, professional opinion, I guess
Well,
I
know
should
their
say.
professional opinion, they're guessing under, I mean, we all know it's gonna be over. I just, I mean, if it was you know, $1 million or something, but, I mean, you know, there's a big difference between 37 million and 32 million. I just,
All right, so, well, I guess we've agreed to,
Again, our exposure is not to exceed $10 million.
all right. Any other questions on number 19? All right, number 20, motion to approve the demolition and site grading GMP mechanical early procurement package and electrical early procurement package for the Rosewood Middle School renovation project. And before we start, have we vetted their, or will we vet their engineers, the electrical engineer stuff to make sure we got the right switch gear and the right generator? And who would be involved in, would,
System.
can we involve our, inspections in any of that, or is that something that's kind of out of their realm of?
It's not their responsibility.
I understand it's not a responsibility, but I
Yeah,
mean,
no, sir, they're the ones responsible for making sure they meet the letter of the building code. They don't play a consultant's role.
so who looks over that stuff?
The
So we don't have the
engineer with
issue.
his professional seal who stamped the drawings is.
Well, we've been on that road before on some
I
other,
agree, but that's the way it works.
okay. All right, back to the, sorry, just
No,
asked that question.
that's fine. So throughout the project, there were some discussions, you know, it's a twofold process. So there's a demolition phase and then there's gonna be a new construction phase. We had always anticipated having multiple GMPs and in the hopes of having some cost savings. Because, you know, if you wait to the very end to bid everything out, you know, you're gonna have some escalation in costs and things like that. So this is that first GMP. It involves a demolition GMP, which is itemized and broken down for you, and then also an early mechanical and electrical. And similar to what we did at the Health and Human Services building, those are some of your big purchase items, your chillers, your large equipment, generators, things like that have large lead times, so you wanna go ahead and get locked in on those prices right now. So there's two parts of that, and then as part of that demolition, you can see some of the breakdown that they have, just the general conditions for the demolition, and then all the unsuitable soil costs, and they did factor in some off-site and on-site fill in there too. So my understanding is from the meeting on Wednesday that Daniels and Daniels was confident in those numbers, but I defer to those that were in the meeting. I think the issue was brought up and everyone was comfortable on the CMAR side that was a good estimate.
who was in that meeting?
Me, Joe,
Myself.
and Freeman on the commissioner side.
And then there was county staff, school staff, and then I believe a couple of school board members as well. But this would all be grant funded at this point.
There was a lot of discussion in the meeting, breakdowns and things. And reevaluating, especially the generator. On the Joe.
But this is the part that I think they want approval for as soon as possible. 'cause
I don't
the-
have a problem with this right here. I mean, we need to go ahead and get things moving. But so down on the bottom, where it says unit prices allowance.
I think those match up to the corresponding figures up top. Those are your unit allowances for each. Because they're labeled Q1 through Q8, and that
Right.
matches up to your bids up in the table.
So they're looking at 10,000.
Yeah, I suppose, I understand the chairman's concern, and my concern as well. But once we authorize the demolition, that school's got to be rebuilt. I mean, once they
yeah.
start that, then it's a done deal, we got to build a school. So, as such, we kind of felt like it was best that we have a funding agreement on the front end before we tear the school down, that we are going to be providing funds up to a certain amount.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of where we're at. Agreed, we haven't negotiated the bond, we have, the actual, loans, we haven't negotiated any of that. But the interest rates, whenever it comes down to time of borrowing, the interest rates are what they are. It's to our advantage to wait in that interest rates will be going down. We wanted to make sure there was a limitation put in regards to how much we would be borrowing. So that's where we came up with the 10 million. That's what they asked for. So we have agreed to their request.
So how about the, what's the deal about the, jail? What's the deal about the, gym? What are they doing?
That was one of the alternates. My understanding is that they're not proceeding with that.
That's
one.
correct.
That was bid out as one of the alternates, but
So they're doing anything based on our conversation? I thought they had to do a certain amount to.
There's a certain amount that they have to do in regards to,
Connecting it to
not only the connection, but also ADA
Yeah, when
compliance.
they do that, they gotta bring it ADA and then.
But that was very minor, according to them. That was very minor in regards to what they were going to have to do at the entrance. But they're not going in there
What's the
replacing the
rule
gym
on-
floor and the bleachers and all that. All of that is taken out.
It's got a new air conditioning system on it now.
No, it's-
Yeah, and we actually got into, a kind of elevated discussion in regards to the heating system, because there was a newer air conditioner. And I was not aware of this, but on that particular campus, they have a centralized heating system. They have a centralized boiler providing the heat to all the buildings. So all that's going to be demolished. And that is, from my understanding, that boiler is many, many, many years old. So that's being demolished. So you're going to have to provide the gym a separate heat source.
So they're gonna redo the air conditioner that they just put in, or they didn't put a
No,
heat and air
there's
conditioner?
no heating system that's
It's
in
just-
there,
it's just a
standalone
separate
heating system for the gym. So that had to be included into this project. It's kind of similar to the remaining classrooms that they're keeping. There's no sprinkler system in that. And for that to be all-inclusive and incorporated into the buildings that they're going to be building for security purposes, you had to put sprinkler system in that building. That was, I think, $400,000.
Yeah, and I think on ADA stuff, when you start doing a certain amount of construction, that you've got to bring the rest of it up to a certain, level as well. But either way, so you're saying, so they put an air conditioning system in, but didn't put a heat system in?
That's
I think
that's
it's-
kind of the way I
think it's
understood
pretty
it.
air.
Yeah. Well, they already had a heating system as such.
But they're gonna tear the,
Agreed.
okay.
But there will have to be a new heating system for the gym.
All right, so that's number 20. All right, so what is number 21 that we talked about adding?
That's the 10
I
million.
think that is not, that was a mistake. It's actually
I
already
thought
covered.
that's the number 19, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna take 20 back off.
So now we got to go
21.
back and
We'll
adjust the
adjust it.
agenda again, right?
Well, we do that anyway at 9 o'clock meeting.
The thing that Andrew just told you about, the $10 million that you get additional grants,
Yes, sir.
that will go to that. You might want to talk to the person that helped you get some of those first grants to see if there are some more available.
We've had that discussion. All right, then we go to public comments, county manager report, board of commissioners, committee reports. We got closed session, correct?
I'm not
Or
sure.
we don't?
I know.
Not right now.
Okay. All right, anybody got anything else? We'll, adjourn or recess our, agenda and come back at 9 o'clock for our regular meeting.
want to remember all of our first responders, EMS, fire, law enforcement, that protect us here at home. And also, our first line of defense is our 911 center. They're the ones that gets the initial calls to dispatch the right people. They get overlooked sometimes, so we ask that you be with them. We ask that you be with our men and women in uniform. We are a community. We ask that you be with the men and women at Seymour Johnson. We ask that you be with the men and women that are deployed, that's in harm's way. And we want to pray for all of our county employees. We are one big family, and they do a fantastic job. They're the ones that makes the county look good. It's not us commissioners sitting up here. It's our employees that gets the work done. And we just want to thank them for what they do. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Please stand and place the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, just a few things before we get started. If we have to clear the room, from here to my left, we'll go with Carol. Here to my right, I'll go with me out the right side, go with Carol out the left side. If you have a medical emergency, Dave is back in the back. Wave out on Dave. Everybody knows Dave. See Dave, and he'll assist you. All right, I'll entertain a motion for the adjusted agenda. Mr.
We remove item number 12, a motion to approve a resolution adopting a policy to prohibit the viewing of pornography on county networks and devices. Remove that item. It will come back to you at a future date.
Okay. And the actual number 21.
That was not a
Okay,
walk-on.
okay,
That
got it.
was-
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the adjusted agenda.
Chair, ask to remove the budget amendments for individual action.
All right. All right, so do I have a motion to approve the adjusted agenda? Please cast your vote.
Did you hear me, Chair?
Yes, sir, without the budget amendments. It's not coming up.
It's not coming up.
All in
Mine did.
favor,
Mine did.
all in favor to approve the adjusted agenda, raise your right hand. All right. All right, we'll go to the approval of the minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve August 20th minutes.
So move.
All in favor, please cast your vote. Please raise your right hand. All right. Got it. All right, do we need to refresh things, see if it'll work?
It should be good now.
Okay,
Mine worked first time.
all right. Okay, and one more thing, I would ask you if everyone would silence all electronic devices, phones, watches, cameras, whatever you got. All right, we go to number 3 on the special presentations, the presentation of employee anniversary pins. Chip and Ginger.
We will ask that after we call your name, you receive your pin. Stay up here so that we can get a picture with the commissioners afterwards. All right, we're going to begin with our one-year pins. Sheriff Cox with EMS. Dahlia Ramirez, Register of Deeds. Deontay Sanderlin, Detention Center. Chloe Lamb, Sheriff's Office. Bertha Darden, Services on Aging. Jacqueline Whitney, Detention Center. Martin Wyatt, EMS. Tony Boone, Services on Aging. Haley Maynor, Facility Services. Tynesha Oates, Detention Center. Nicholas Boyler, Sheriff's Office. Kendall Har, Human Resources. Lydia Soto, Public Health Maternity Care Project. John Reese, Animal Control. Philip French, Sheriff's Office. Ian Wade, 911. Paula Hickok, Maxwell Center. Landon Moore, 911. Natasha Artist, Services on Aging. Elizabeth Knuckles, Detention Center. Corey Oxendine, Finance. Jessica Sellers, Maxwell Center. Gordon Daniels, Detention Center. Oh, thank you. Edward Delacroix, Sheriff's Office. Stephen Hall, Inspections. Courtney Dolly, Detention Center. Okay, that ends our one-year pins. Now we'll move on to now our five-year pin recipients. We will begin with Kathy Smith from Tax Office. Amy Krusch with Public Health Maternity Care Project. Philip Brogdon, Facility Services. Is that both of them? And Oscar Espinoza with Facility Services. All right. Can you skip back to a one-year real quick for Mr. Martin Wyatt? Thank you, sir, for being here. We understand you got a lot going on. And that concludes our 1 year and a 5 year. All right, we have one 10-year recipient, and that would be Brittany Wood with Solid Waste. We have one 15-year recipient, Giorgio Kristev, Information Technology Director. We have one 20-year recipient, Jeffrey Sparrow with the Planning Department. And last but not least, our 25-year recipients, beginning with Delmas Cox from Solid Waste. And Cynthia Gillette, Public Health, with a whole lot of letters, B, C, C, C. Okay. All right, if we can get, y'all act like you like each other, so that we can get everybody in here. And we'll stand. And y'all will just stand so they can see you and just look up at that top camera there and smile, and Joel will give the all clear in about 2 seconds. Maybe? Got it. All right, thank you all. I really didn't mean to skip over his name.
I didn't figure you did, but I was gonna bring it back to your attention when you got to the bottom of the list, but we're able to.
All right. Next on our agenda, is the presentation of the September Wayne County Hero Spotlight by Jay's Kitchen. Ginger, morning.
This is always my favorite. So I'm excited to recognize a remarkable individual who embodies the spirit of community, love, and dedication. Miss Patricia Ruffin. Miss I'm going to brag on you just a minute. As a military spouse and a devoted employee of Wayne County for 24 years, Pat has not only committed herself to work with Wayne County facilities, but has also woven a rich tapestry of support and compassion for everyone around her. Pat is the kind of person who never seems rushed, yet she always gets the job done calmly, putting everyone at ease. Her warmth is infectious. Being in her presence leaves you feeling uplifted and valued. Whether it's her active involvement in her church community, her culinary skills that draw family and friends to her home, or her unwavering support for her husband during his military career, Pat exemplifies what it means to be a true hero. Together with James, her husband of 47 years, they traveled the world and embraced diverse cultures, all while fostering a loving family that includes 2 sons, 2 daughters, 6 grandsons, and 1 granddaughter. Their commitment to volunteering, especially in preparing and serving food at church, speaks volumes about their shared dedication to giving back. Pat's home is a sanctuary where no one leaves hungry. Her kitchen is a gathering place filled with laughter, love, and delicious meals. She makes it a priority to connect with everyone she meets, showing the same love and care to each person who crosses her path. Her grace, kindness, and exceptional work truly represents the best of our community. Thank you, Pat, for all that you do. You are a shining example of how one person's dedication can uplift so many. Congratulations.
In celebration of this well-deserved recognition, Jay's Kitchen is contributors, delighted contributor, special gift. Pat Ruffin, thank you for your remarkable service for inspiring us.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I've been coming up here for 12 years, and I've never met her in the hall when she didn't speak and asked you how you doing. I mean, that's That's a remarkable lady right there.
Moving on to number 5, presentation of check by Wayne County ABC Board General Manager Darnay Barefoot.
Mr. Chair, would you like to come down and receive the check, or will?
They bringing disciples?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, it's good to be back. This is the third time since I've taken over as GM at the Wayne County ABC Board to present money, and I am glad to do it each time that we've done it, because that says that we're making for Wayne County, okay? And in the last fiscal year of 23-24, just to give you an example, we sent $3.5 million to the state. And y'all got, on the pie chart, 250,000 in this last round altogether.
We need to switch that.
Need to switch? Well, I would if I could, but the statute prohibits me. But anyway, we appreciate everything y'all do for us. We look forward to keep working with you. As you know, we're now working on building an additional store, new store out at Rosewood to replace the small one, and all that is in the process of being done. So, without our people in Wayne County, it would not be possible. So, Mr. Chairman, I present you this check. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I see that. And always remember this, for any of you commissioners, my door is always open, just as it is to my employees, anytime, because we want to make it better than it was. And in fact, I'd like to share a little story. I've started sending all our managers to school, from Management 1, Management 2, and Leadership. And they were like, we've never done this before. I said, well, I want to make you all better today than when I came, and when I leave, I want you better. And they've really taken on to that, and they've learned a lot. And it's also improving our system too, and the way they think and go about doing things. So we're trying to give our employees opportunities that they've never had, and go forward.
Ms. Barber asked me how much the check was. I told her I didn't look, because
What?
very seldom do we get somebody that hands us money.
Well, I would say we might be one of the only ones, maybe, I don't know.
It's close.
112,500 was in this check.
Thank you.
So, okay.
Darnay's been in this business a long time. He's been a friend for a long time through different endeavors that he's encountered over the years.
Endeavors, yeah. Yeah, it's
So,
been there.
we thank you for what
We
you do.
appreciate everything you've done. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Recognize our board chair back there, Mr. Dawson.
Mr. Dawson is our chairman. He is very supportive of what we do. Puts a lot of time into it. All of our board members do. It takes more than 2 hours a month that what they have to do. They have to listen to me and ask for things and study it out, and can we do it? Is it feasible or whatever? And they also speak to people in the community on our behalf. So, and there's a lot of programs we do people don't even realize. We do money back to the drug and alcohol program. We do money back to DHHS, college money this year, different things. So, Boys and Girls Club. So just anytime y'all need something, want to come by, doors open. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to number 6, motion to approve the 2024 Senior Center Month Proclamation as presented by Services on Aging Director Paula Edwards. Ms. Paula?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for allowing me to be here today. Celebrated every year in September is National Senior Center Month, and it's a time to shine a light on senior centers, showing the entire nation how vital they are to the health and well-being of a community. Senior centers provide countless hours of support and encouragement to older adults, and provide access to information, opportunities, and support to improve the lives of people in their communities as they age. The mission of the Senior Center is to be the local trusted place in the community that connects people to the programs, services, and opportunities they need to age well. They offer a place for older adults to discover their unique interests, talents, and aspirations. Senior centers work with community partners to provide access to health, economic security, social engagement, purpose, creativity, mobility, nutrition, all in social and fun environment. So with your permission today, I would like to read the proclamation for National Senior Center Month. Whereas older Americans are significant members of our society, investing their wisdom and experience to help enrich and better the lives of younger generations. And whereas the Wayne County Peggy M. Seeger Senior Center has acted as a catalyst for mobilizing the creativity, energy, vitality, and commitment of older residents of Wayne County. And whereas through a wide array of services, programs, and activities, senior centers empower older citizens of Wayne County, North Carolina, to contribute to their own health and well-being, and the health and well-being of their fellow citizens of all ages. And whereas the Wayne County Senior Center affirms the dignity, self-worth, and independence of older persons by facilitating their decisions and actions, tapping their experiences, skills, and knowledge, and enabling their continued contributions to the community. Now therefore, be it resolved, the Wayne County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim the month of September 2024 as National Senior Center Month, and calls upon all citizens to recognize the special contributions of the Wayne County Peggy M. Seeger Senior Center participants and the special efforts of the staff and volunteers who work every day to enhance the well-being of the older citizens of our community, adopted the 17th day of September 2024.
Thank you, ma'am. I entertain a motion to approve the 2024 Senior Center Month Proclamation.
So moved.
All right, y'all take your pick, who you want to right now. All in favor? Please raise your, is it coming up?
Mine is.
Still ain't coming up. Raise your right hand, all in favor? Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate what you do for all of our seniors. It's very enlightening to go out and see. It's like during Christmas time and all, when they have the thing, it's a lot of them still got some moves.
Oh, yeah. They put us to shame.
More moves
They
than
always
others.
impress the younger generation
Yeah.
that comes in and does interns
Yeah.
there as well. If you don't mind, before I leave, can I just share a few
Yes, ma'am.
events that we're having to celebrate National Senior Center Month? Tomorrow, on Wednesday, September the 18th at 12 o'clock, we will have dessert with the director. And this is the opportunity for the older adults to present ideas, concerns, suggestions, and just give feedback that pertains to the senior center. And so that is open to Wayne County citizens that are older adults. And then on September the 24th at 2 p.m., the Drama Club will present the Tate Family. And this will also include performances by the Senior Center Voices of Praise Choir and the Senior Center Tap Dancers. And on Thursday, September the 26th, Wayne County Health Department will be at the Senior Center to provide flu, shingles, and pneumonia vaccinations. So you do need to pre-register to fill out information prior to the event, and you can call 731-1589 to pre-register. And this event is from 9 a.m. till 2. And then on Friday, September the 27th, we will have the Starlight Dance Band. They will perform from 6:30 to 8:30, and this is also open to Wayne County older adults. And again, I do appreciate you letting me come to speak with you this morning.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Chair,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you, Ms. Edwards, for participating in the summer employment program with some of our youth here in the county. I mean, a lot of them, they enjoy working with the seniors, and I really appreciate your department.
Well, thank you, and we enjoyed the program as well. We've really enjoyed the students that have come through there,
Thank you.
and they've been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Any others? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, I entertain a motion to approve the adjusted consent agenda.
So moved.
All in favor, please cast your vote. There you go. I'll get through.
Mine is.
Okay, all right. All right, on to new business. Number 15, a motion to approve resolution accepting a community project funding grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to construct an EMS station on Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. So,
That is, as discussed previously, that was a grant that we received, from the federal government to construct that EMS station. I have, our EMS director, Dave Cutterback, is here for further discussion.
Can you pull that map back up, please?
all right, Dave?
Good morning, everybody. So as Chip had said, we applied, just a quick little timeline on all this, how all this works. 7/20/2023, we applied for a grant to build a Station 12, Wayne County EMS Station 12. The why behind this is our Station 6 located at Madison Avenue. It's our busiest station out of 11. Very high call volume. That is the primary station. It also serves Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. So the why behind this was to build a second station closer to proximity of the base, divide the call volume of Station 6, also decrease response times on the Seymour Johnson. We were advised about this grant through Senator Tillis's office, applied for it 7/20/2023, and then on August 27th, 2024, we received our letter that we'd been approved for this grant. The grant is for $2,011,000.
You got, anybody got any questions for Dave or Chip or Andrew?
If you don't mind, just kind of explain to them, we got the map, where the map pulled up, where this is located. I mean, the main gate to the base is off to the left of this drawing, just, and
Okay, perfect.
we couldn't, you go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, so first and foremost, thanks for Julio and Kendall for working on this. They've been very instrumental in this process. What you're looking at is Elm Street right there. And the base entrance is to the right, maybe 300 yards to the right of that. You can see the that little utility gate right there. What our game plan is Seymour Johnson has given us, and there will be a lease agreement, of course, in place, a 1 acre plot. And so what the game plan is to cut into the security gate right now, frame out that 1 acre plot, and then to put our station in there. The reason for that is because for security purposes, we can't have the EMS station enter directly into the base. And so we would still need to exit out of the station, head to the right, and come into the base. DOD dictates exactly what the expectations are for response times to any military installation. Even though it's not on base, this is going to cut that time down significantly. Station 6, that's primary for this. If they were in the station all the time, they would meet those times all the time. But because it's the busiest station that we have, they're usually out on calls or at the hospital. And that's where we lose our time on this. So even though it's not on the military installation, it's right next door. Our response times will be next to nothing.
Any other questions for Dave?
I just want to say, appreciate the work that Dave's done on it and the work that the commissioners have kind of pushed a little bit, and thank Tillis's office and Adam that worked for Tillis. He's no longer with him, but he was very instrumental in making this happen. And I really had my doubts to start with on whether we could get some land on the base on Elm Street, but it was relatively easier than what I had anticipated. And our staff, Kendall and IT and everybody that's been involved, I just want to thank you because, anything we can do to enhance the base, we have Brighton, they're always, I don't know whether they're bluffing or what, every time it comes up, they mention moving the planes or whether the base is going to stay open. But anything we can do to enhance the betterment of Seymour Johnson, I feel like it's going to be an asset to the county. Thank you, David.
Yeah, I want everybody to know what the blueprint is moving forward. So we received our approval. We're aggressively working on all of this. When I say aggressively is we have not actually spoken with the people behind the HUD grant. We want everything in place so the moment they give us a green light, we're ready to go. So the blueprint is right now we have a company that will be doing the environmental assessment. Anytime you receive a HUD grant, you have to have an environmental assessment performed on the site. That company is in place. I believe you guys have a task order somewhere in front of you that will need your approval on that. Before we can break any ground, before we can cut any offenses, we have to have that environmental assessment done, making sure that there's no chemicals in it, and make sure that there's no wildlife that we would compromise, make sure that there is no Native American artifacts that are in that area. As soon as the environmental assessment is done, then we can start moving forward with what are called the hard costs, and that's the actual construction of this process. So just want everybody to know what the blueprint is. We're waiting for the website portal to open up. We've already got our paperwork already completed. As soon as that's done, we're gonna send it. And I annoy our representative every 2 weeks. So I send her an email every 2 weeks. Wayne County MS, ready to build her station, let us know what the next step is.
What do we anticipate our time frame once we get all of the goals as far as construction is concerned?
Yeah, it's a great question. So in speaking with the representatives from HUD, they say it can go very fast, or they say it can move at a snail's pace. So I'd love to give you a timeline on it. We all would love that station to be built yesterday, just because our call volume that's happening right now. We're moving very fast from a county standpoint, but there's some other players in it that we have to wait for them.
One other question.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at the drawings. Are we gonna have like some security arms that go down? Or
No.
it's just gonna be
So
open?
this will not be a secure, this will not require any additional security, because as you can see, the fence is gonna go around it. So we won't go directly into the base. We'll come out, take a right on Elm Street, and then enter at the front gate on all that stuff. There won't be any requirements for any security. As far as the construction of the building, there will be some differences between that building and our current stations, but there's no need for additional security on it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One quick question.
Yes, sir.
With this grant, isn't the main focus U.S. housing and urban development is the development of urban?
That's correct.
So I'm making sure that even though that purpose you're saying is the base, that purpose is really the people that this grant serves more than the base.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Because I
that's
haven't heard that in any of the conversations. They keep saying base, base, base. But this grant money that we're getting for this is focused on urban housing, mostly low income
Which is
people.
what,
So
Absolutely.
I want to make sure that that's being stated, and that hasn't been stated so far, you know what I mean? And I understand that, you know, it's technically not on the base, but I just want to make sure that clarity is there, because I haven't heard that, and it's so much focus, base, 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 base. But it needs to be more focused, people outside the base, then base secondary, because the money that's being used to build this, even though it's more convenient and it's closer to the base, which is understandable, that's great. But with this money being involved, we need to make sure that we're stating that this is for, and base is secondary, and not base first and then the people second, because of the money, that the $2 million grant that's involved.
well, this grant, $2 million grant is gonna, actually put more resources into that area that you're talking about, along with the base.
I mean, you saying more resources, I mean, what more resources?
More EMS and more.
I mean, that's really not a resource for that community, let's be honest. If
It's the
it-
busiest-
because no one in that community is gonna be working at this station, so that's not, that part is not beneficial. I'm stating the actual facts of this grant, Chair, that what it's stated for, and what U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development does. That's all I'm stating. So we need to make sure that we're clear on what the purpose of this station is first and foremost, and it's not the base.
Yeah, so.
Base is second.
Great point, Mr. Foster, and I appreciate you bringing that up. So you're exactly right. So when we look at a heat map, everybody in Wayne County, and my family hears this all the time, it doesn't matter where I am, I will tell my family, these are the people that we're responsible for taking care of, whether it's on the base or off the base. When you look at a heat map of that area for Station 6, the call volume in that area is huge. This station, Station 12, is to serve all citizens. It's to serve the people on the base. It's also to assist our staff in this process. So I apologize, I didn't verbalize the fact that this is covering a huge area down there.
Yes.
Every single person that we have in this community, every citizen, every visitor that we have in this community, I take their safety and their well-being personally. And you're right, and so
Yes,
this
I
is
do.
covering a huge
I know you
area.
do, but I just wanted to make
Yes,
sure
sir.
that that statement was there because of the money and where that money is
Absolutely.
coming from as far as that grant.
Yes,
That's
sir.
all.
Yeah, and I'd love to show you all sometime heat maps. You'll see that there is a district that's gonna decrease the response times to that district. That has a pretty high call volume as well, not to mention the Berkeley area and all the businesses
Yes,
that are there.
of course.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much.
Anybody got anything else? Entertain a motion to approve the resolution setting the community project funding grant.
So moved.
All in favor, please cast your vote. Or raise your right hand if it didn't come up. All right, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, number 16, motion to approve task order number 8 with CDM Smith Incorporated for an environmental assessment for Seymour Johnson Air Force Base EMS Station 12 with appropriate budget amendment, which is the one he just spoke about. Entertain a motion for approval.
So
moved.
All in favor, please cast your vote. Didn't come up, raise your right hand.
Mine came up.
All right, moving on to number 17. Motion to approve a consulting contract for fiscal year 24-25 between the County of Wayne, the City of Goldsboro, Friends of Seymour, and Crossroads Strategies. This is an agreement that we have been in place for the last 6 months, I think it has, and it's just, and everything's already been funded for this position.
It was budgeted for in the yearly budget.
So entertain a motion for approval.
So move.
All in favor, raise your right hand or cast your vote, whichever comes up.
No, I didn't. I raised
All right, number 18, motion to approve resolution approving a change to the rules and procedures of the Wayne County Board of Commissioners. Entertain a motion, or if there's any discussion?
So moved.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
with someone, I would like for our attorney to explain this motion and what's the reason for it.
The reason is to change the rules so that one county commissioner could not remove something from the agenda, but 4 of you could always do that.
So why are we changing this? What's the point? I mean, it's been fine so far. What's the point of changing it now? Is it because of me asking to remove items off of the agenda or consent agenda, or why? I'm trying to figure that out. Why this came out of nowhere?
Well, it didn't really come out of nowhere. It was conversations that I'd had with some of the commissioners, and so I prepared it.
So some of the commissioners had a problem with items being taken off the consent agenda, right? Because I've been the only person doing that, correct? I just want to make sure I get enough background and enough information, because the simple fact is, sometimes when you're in a situation and you start making rules and changing rules, you're kind of sort of discrimination against one person. So I want to make sure where we stand on this, so I make sure that I know my next move and what I need to do, because it seems like it's a personal little attack on me because I've been the only person doing it. And at the end of the day, I should have a right to remove anything that's always been in the Roberts rules and everything else. Then all of a sudden, it's this change for what I don't understand. You know what I mean? If you don't take it off, I'm still gonna vote no on the consent agenda. So then we still end up with how we wanna do that. I don't know whether it can be a no on the consent agenda or if it can't. We're trying to figure that out. I still don't know the understanding of that yet. So I just wanna make sure before this is done, what's really going on in the background for it, considering that I've had some conversations about it also. And I know at our last meeting, after our meeting was over, it was some conversation and discussion about it from a commissioner. So I just want to make sure that I have all the information and everything I need to proceed with whatever I need to do moving after this motion.
4 commissioners can still do what the previous rule, the current rules say that one commissioner can do.
So, but still, you cannot force the commissioner to approve a consent agenda if you don't want to.
No, absolutely.
Which is fine. So either way, it's still gonna be a no. I just hate the fact that we're changing this, but it's fine. I'll move on and we can handle this at another time. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, all in favor, please cast your vote. Please cast your vote.
Already have.
Mike, come up.
Come up. Unbelievable.
All right, on to number 19, a motion to approve a funding agreement for the renovation of Rosewood Middle School with the Wayne County Board of Education contingent on county attorney's approval.
You want to go back over that again or answer any questions?
I know we went through it quite a bit before, but I see we have some public school system staff that might be able to answer some questions if there are some. So this came out of the working group last Wednesday. There was, as you all are aware, we have some commissioners, senior county management, senior Wayne County Public School staff, and some school board members that make up that working group. We had something similar for Fremont. They met Wednesday because there's an early GMP package that came in regarding demolition, and then advanced packages for electrical and HVAC that they would like to move forward on. Just a summary, as you all recall, what we have funded so far for this project. We had $20 million in a state grant. We had a SCIF grant of $7 million, 5.3 of which has been, we've allocated to this project. So we have about $25.3 million. So they're at the point now with the demolition, and then with their CMAR, Daniels and Daniels, that they have a preliminary estimate on what new construction costs would be. So based off the meeting of last week, I was asked to put together a funding agreement similar to what we had in place for Fremont to identify how we're going to use our grant funding, who's going to be responsible for any overages, also that the school board would convey that property over to the county, one, to recognize the sales tax savings during construction, but two, if we do have to go out and borrow for any additional funds, we could use that for collateral depending on the funding structure of how we go out to finance. So the all-in cost that we've projected so far based off the estimates is approximately $37.3 million. Let me clarify, that is not hard cost construction. That is everything. So that's CMAR fees, that's architect, that's everything rolled in there, what we call soft costs. And the reason why we wanted to include that, because eventually if we do have to go out and fund that or borrow that amount, the LGC is going to need all that. So your GMP is usually just your hard cost, but what this resolution incorporates is all those soft costs as well. I think Angie has in front of you a preliminary estimate on what new construction would be. So you have that in front of you as well. But the funding agreement calls for the $25.325 million in state block grants and SCIF grants to be designated to this project. Additionally, the county would contribute up to another $10 million for the funding of this project. That would either be PAYGO funding, borrowing, or it could be additional state grants. I understand that there may be a possibility for some additional state grants. If there are any additional grant funding, the way we have it structured right now is that would go against that $10 million that would not be used to extend the scope of the project. My understanding from the working group meeting on Wednesday that they came to an agreement on which alternates they were going to include. And I think that was those extra classrooms on the main building right there. And then the other aspects of this funding agreement are similar to what we had for Fremont. So the school board would convey the property over to the county. So we could use that for sales tax and then borrowing, and then we would reconvey that back to the school board once the debt was retired. Additionally, it calls for, if it does go over budget and that $2 million doesn't fund it, then the parties would come back together and identify additional funding, be that fund balance from one of the entities, additional grants, what have you. But we would circle back similar to what we did for Fremont. So it's the same process, and it worked well for Fremont, so I think this is in line with what we've done so far. So, and commissioners, in the working group, if I left anything out, feel free to chime in. But my understanding is the school board wanted some sort of commitment now, because once you tear the building down, you got to build something back. So you can't just leave a blank spot out there.
So alternate one is an additional footprint. It's not in the actual new building plan. It's
Do you all have a map?
Yeah, I'm looking at
Okay,
it.
you're looking at the map, okay.
So is this the, that's on the right-hand side at the end. So it says on the bottom end down here, not, site work cost to add alternate one, it's got a question mark, not included.
You want to
That's fine, yeah, bring somebody up, just better
Out
they'll
here.
answer the question.
put you on the spot?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. Your question about site work costs, that would be included in that 37 that you're looking at approving the funding agreement.
All right, it says down here that, Danner's site work cost to add alternate one, it's got a question mark. Says items not included on alternate one, so you're saying it is included?
Yes, sir, it should be.
Alternate one is, so the site work's included.
All right, so when everything goes out, everything will be included in the alternates that were agreed upon in the working group.
I'm talking about it's included in the price, the 3.2 million?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, and the other thing is the, where it attaches, where you had to, do the part where the gym's at, with the ADA stuff, that's been a question of somebody's. How much will be, which one is the gym?
It's Area E.
Area, which one? E?
Area E, yes, sir.
Okay,
Bottom left of your
yep,
map.
got it, all right. Is there any, how much ADA stuff had to be done, was required to make that ADA?
So what will have to happen is the back of the gym is where the majority of that 1.5 million estimate is going to happen, Mr. Chair. And that is mainly because of the sewer in the current configuration comes out of the rear of the gym, which will end up being underneath the footprint. So, and also we have 2 exits out the back of the gym to maintain compliance with, safety code. We have to continue that we have 2 exits. So that has to be reconfigured and floors torn up in the back and everything will be ADA compliant. We're good as far as the interior of the gym. We have ADA compliant doors with 36
So
inches in space.
the actual floor of the gym is not coming up?
No, sir, not.
Any issues up under that gym is not supposed to be?
Not in this one. So we had discussion about the gym in Area E and some additional expenses in that. And to bring the project down to where we felt like it was more fundable, we cut out a potential alternate of around 2-point-some million in the gym to address things like new bleachers, work on the floor, fixtures up front, things like that. So when you look at Area E, there is no alternate for that. It is just simply what is needed to marry those 2 buildings together and to bring anything up to code for life safety that we have to have.
All right, the other thing was the road coming in, was some of that had to be redesigned because of, so which part was that?
Yes, sir. So that is in the site work. So the current map that you have, Mr. Chair, shows the configuration of how the drives would be if we had a base school of 525 or so students. So the discussion with the working group, and again, board members, please add in if you feel anything to add. When we looked at giving the school the ability to have capacity added to it for potential growth, and the alternate A, Mr. Chair, which would be those 8 classrooms additions at your bottom right of that map. NCDOT has told us that that current plan, using the driveway beside the gym as an exit only, the entrance would be at Rosewood High School to have enough car stacking ability. That entrance or exit, would be too close to the intersection of 581 and Rosewood Road. So in order to make sure the school can have the capacity, we have to go back and redo the site plan so it'll be approved by NCDOT. And their recommendation is to look at the widening of the driveway at Rosewood High School and make that wider because that entrance and exit would be further away from the intersection of 581.
Is that the entrance, is that the drive beside the fire department?
Yes, sir, it is.
So, Dave, does EMS still go out?
Yes, sir. So we've actually just moved the EMS because of the traffic in the mornings and during pickup in the afternoons. We've actually moved the ambulance to one of the front bays.
Okay.
That way it's not being interfered at all
Okay, all
anymore.
right.
Yeah, and this was a decision that was made with us in Rosewood Fire Department, and they assisted on this as
Okay,
well.
all right, so that's been taken care of?
Yes, sir. That's
So
correct.
that section on the right where y'all go out every weekend or every other weekend and fill the holes in, that's not in play now, right?
That is now, Rosewood Fire Department's brush truck is now dealing with that.
Okay, so
Yes,
is that
sir.
something that could be fixed in this cause in this process while we're out there? Okay,
Yeah, I mean, that'll be
Right.
up to you all, but that would probably be in
Right.
everyone's best interest.
Right.
Yes, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir, because that drive and entrance will have to be repaved and expanded, so everything, of course, up to the property line, I
Right.
know will be addressed or fixed. I know that line is really, really close as we go around the back. There's also some utilities right there at the road. If you've ever been into the driveway at Rosewood High School, it's kind of narrow then expands. There's some data there. There might be a gas line there, so we know there's going to have to be some utility work there to make sure we can expand that entrance and exit.
And the site changes, is that gonna cost additional dollars?
Yes, sir. So one of the things is that the Board of Education will be presented with what's called a change of scope plan for Davis King to potentially approve, because as we shared with the working group, we are 50% complete with the design documents to be ready to go out to bid. So this site plan is what you're seeing, so there will be some changes going back to adjust the drives. So there'll be some additional dollars that have to go into the design at this time.
Have you anticipated how much?
I'm thinking somewhere around 100 to 150,000.
Is that huh? But is that, how about architect fees? Is that anything it says over here, any additional change orders, is that considered a change order since you,
Would be included in that, yes, for that amount that I am anticipating it to be.
the $2.5 million part? It's included, so that would,
Contract amount was 2.3. Increase that to 2.5 to anticipate that change
got
order.
it. All right, any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the funding agreement for the renovation of Rosewood Middle School with the Wayne County Board of Education contingent upon county attorney's approval.
All right, I have a motion on the floor. All in favor, please vote. If not, raise your right hand. All in favor, all opposed? All right, motion carried. All right, thank you, sir. I won't stick around. I'd sit up front because I got another one coming. Number 20, motion to approve the demolition and site grade GMP mechanical early procurement package and electrical early procurement package for the Rosewood Middle School renovation project.
And I think I can go back and make one comment on the funding agreement. This all happened pretty quick last week, so I've been going back and forth with their attorney. We have not finalized it. That's why we made it contingent on county attorney approval. That way I can work with them, and I also don't know what the school board's timeline is. So that way we don't have to come back for approval. If there's minor changes, we can go ahead and make those and move forward. But then your next packet or your next item is, like I mentioned before, they broke this up into several GMPs just because of the type of project. You know, Fremont, we had brand new property that we just built straight up. Here we're demolishing, and then we have to do new construction as well. So we always anticipated breaking up these GMPs for cost saving and for time effectiveness. So what's in front of you are your demolition GMP, and then they also added some mechanical and electrical and mechanical early packages. If you recall, for our Health and Human Services building, we did something similar for those large equipment that have a lot of lead times. It's better to go ahead and get that price locked in now. One, because you save some money, but two, you can go ahead and get it ordered, so when you're ready to go to start construction, it's there. So they're asking to add that into the demolition. I know it was brought up before, and Dr. Harold can probably mention it, but there is some unsuitable soil allowances in here, including fill, on-site fill and off-site fill. My understanding with the working group and with Daniels, everybody was comfortable with the figures that were thrown out, so.
So has there been any environmental done on this project?
We're in the process with DEQ right now, Mr. Chair. We've done all of our document signing that we're supposed to with DEQ to do the environmental assessment on the site at this time. So we're waiting for that.
So we have no idea what we're dealing with.
Other than, no, sir, not Not at this time, other than, we have already removed oil tanks and stuff that we have had, and have had those areas tested and have had no issues with any contamination from DEQ there. I will say on the site, soils, we have had that tested, but they couldn't test underneath the building itself for unsuitable soils. So when you look at this cost, there was a large amount included as an allowance if 4 foot to 5 foot of undercut has to be removed off the entire site. We believe that that is not going to be the case.
Would that be Q4? Have you got
Unsuitable soil.
Unsuitable soil, yes, it's somewhere around close to 600,000, I believe, was what was asked to be put in as an allowance for unsuitable soils. Didn't bring my glasses, so I can't see them.
Yeah, we're here to serve, so. I don't see 600,000 on it, is the reason I'm asking.
50,000.
I got 150, and then you got a,
Thank you very much.
you got a 1,400 and a. I ain't trying to put you on the spot, I'm just trying to make sure that we got our.
Q3 and
Maybe
4.
included in that
If you-
In the
810.
In the eight, I
That's
think
a
it's
lot for a
included,
building
Mr. Chair, in the
pad.
810.
Okay.
We can also share the breakout of the bids if you would like to
I would
see
like to
those.
do that and that way get it to Angie, that way she can kind of keep up with that.
Yes, sir.
So do we know, have we inquired or have you been there long enough to know what they used to, heat it with? Used to heat the school with,
Yes, sir. The current heat is a boiler plant. and
but
it's
before
separate.
that?
It was a boiler, but it was fired by coal.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, all right, so cool. All right, any other questions?
I did have a question, and that is, I know we are pushing this forward as quick as we can.
Yes, sir.
But we do need to have the property transferred over to the county for tax savings, even on this 2.8 million that we are
Yes, sir.
authorizing. So hopefully we can get that transfer taking place prior to actually this being authorized.
Has it been surveyed?
The site for the school, but what we're working with there, Mr. Neal and I actually communicated through emails, is as you can imagine, the school property dates back, the last deed I looked at was 1890 something. So as I've been to the courthouse myself, trying to find, like a lot of the old schools, it has had a parcel added so many years. So I do think there's going to have to be some title work done and some deed work. I even mentioned to our attorneys that it might be worth it at this time to consolidate these properties onto one deed. The school itself, when you look at that map that you have, it is 4 acres, and that 4-acre lot, we do have clear deeds to it. But the property that adjoins the football field, the baseball field, that adjoins this property, it's kind of murky at this time, as it has been when we looked at Fremont, when you date back to the 1900. So I do think there's going to have to be some title work done. I agree, Mr. Daugherty, that needs to go ahead and be done, but we probably gonna have to do some title work to get it all cleaned up, and this is a great time to do it.
I was gonna pull him right before he left.
Murky to the point that we might not own it, like the Booster
No,
Club
sir.
or some,
No,
oh, not
no,
that murky.
we own
Okay.
it.
Not that murky.
Updated legal descriptions.
Okay,
I mean, you've got legal
okay.
descriptions from the 1800s, which is ditches that don't exist anymore.
Trees.
Things like that.
All right, I'm gonna ask this.
Yes, sir.
If you'll keep Kendall in the loop
Yes, sir.
and kind of, in the process, and also Jason Baker, which is our head, building inspector, which he'll be the only inspector you got on the job. We've got
Yes,
him
sir.
in touch with Daniels, so keep him in the loop as well.
Yes, sir.
On any kind of things kind of going through, because I understand that we are doing like we did at Fremont. There will be no inspection.
Yeah, we're not gonna charge ourselves any
Okay,
permit
so
fees.
we want to try to keep it as,
Right.
fluid as possible, so that
Yes, sir.
everything moves, so they're not making 3 trips, but it's just being one.
Yes, sir.
That work?
Thank you.
You ain't got to call me sir, man.
I'm
I
trying-
appreciate it, but I mean.
If I would like to apologize to Mr. Daugherty. I did jump on him at our working group meeting. I'm sorry. If I was too strong.
Hey,
I
he's
got
used to it. I'm used to it. He's used to it.
But I would like to say, just thank you on behalf of the school board and for the community. This is really historic. because this is the first time that the two boards might agree, right, in all transparency, to take down a building not knowing exactly what the new building is going to cost. So we've tried to move as quick as we can, as cost effectively as we can, knowing increases of cost and things like that. So I know from our board and the working group, we really appreciate the ability that you have allowed to work together, because this is a unique, I don't think in my tenure have we ever moved forward with constructing of a school until we actually knew what it was going to cost and if we had secured the funding. So, and I assure you, we are doing everything we can to get a good product for our citizens and children, but to be as cost-effective as we can. So we just thank you for your support and consideration.
Well, to continue transparency, you won't hear the earlier meeting, we had a lot of questions about that. Or I did, I guess.
If you ever
I should
need me to
say.
come, I'm happy to come if you ever need us.
All right, any other questions or concerns? If not, entertain a motion to approve the demolition of site grade GMP.
So moved.
All right, all in favor, please cast your vote. Not raise your right hand. Coming up. All right.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to say too, we had a great working group. Everybody was on the same page, working for the best interest for Rosewood. And I thank you, Dr. Harrell, for your hard work as well as making it move forward.
Passionate. I love what I do, and I love fighting for kids and children and working with you. And the working group has met 4 times, for those of you that do not know. And this group started a year ago in August. So, and I do think it's been a wonderful opportunity for the two boards to actually work together and be transparent on what is going on the school district side and the funding that you do. So thank you for Ms. Barbara, Mr. Freeman, and Mr. Joe for attending all those meetings, because I know sometimes, and Ms. Carroll, thank you for everything you do too, because it's hard to get 7 board members together with all your schedules. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, anybody for public comment?
No, we still have number 21.
No, we don't have a 21. 20.
Budget amendments.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. I'm sorry. You're exactly right. Because I'd marked out the last 21. The, entertain a motion to approve the budget amendments.
So moved.
All in favor, please cast your vote or raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. All right.
That was the accident. That's the wrong one.
All right, so, I'm sorry, I did miss 21. Thank you, Mr. Foster, for bringing it to my attention. All right, public comments, anybody sign up? All right, county manager report.
Yes, sir. I'd like to say congratulations to those employees that received their anniversary pins. I enjoyed that little session. I remember when I got my year 1 pin a long time ago, and that's always appreciative and appreciative of the job they do. I'm also thankful for Pat and her getting recognized. That was special. And shout out also to Jay's Kitchen for sponsoring that, and give them another thank you for that. That's all, sir.
All right, Mr. Foster.
Yes, 2 things. For me, today was a little unusual with the motion that was made. I took it personal, which I know it was personal. But I would just like to say to the 5 members that voted for it, I brought up a lot of different things in discussion. One being the amount of money that we lose, taxpayer money that we lose at the Jetport, money that we lose at the Maxwell Center. False numbers that I've gotten said it was 40,000. Even the board member that sits on the board said it was 40,000. And we're losing anywhere from $400,000 to $1 million a year out there. That no one has said anything about that. No one's made any kind of, let's figure out how to bring that number down so we can save some money. No, nothing. No one but me. So it's quite confusing that we go out of our way for a motion to stop a basic thing of just taking things out for the consent agenda, but we don't do anything to save this county some money. But let it be something that's $50,000 for playground equipment. We're trying to budget that down to 20 if we can, but not anything else. So it's kind of sort of heartbreaking that this is what you have to deal with in politics, but I'm used to it. I have thick skin, been dealing with it for years now. But just that. And on a brighter note, Mr. Delmas that was here earlier, I think he got his 25-year pen. I was at the landfill Saturday, and when I say just an awesome young man, as I'm gonna call him, helped me out so much. I was out there having a little difficult time, a real difficult time. Let me just say that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, this is just not working. And he just helped me with every single thing, you know what I mean? Do this, help me, you know what I mean? Got stuck out there, he helped me, just everything, man. So I just want to say thank you to him. When I saw him in the hallway, it's like, hey, you know what I'm saying? He didn't even recognize me, so that just means that he just does that naturally, you know what I mean? It wasn't one of them things where he knew who I was, I didn't tell him I was commissioner, anything. I could tell he just helps everyone that he runs across because he didn't even remember that he even did it. So it was just a natural thing to him. I had to remind him, but I really, really appreciate him. Thank you, Mr. Dale. Mr. Dale Pickle is what he said.
We got some quality employees all around, and especially like the same thing goes for the convenience sites. Always willing to help somebody if they have an issue. I've noticed that more than one time, helping elderly people get stuff out of their cars and all. So, thank you, Mr. Foster. Mr. Hardison.
Nothing.
Ms. Barber.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know if the rest of the board knows that Colonel Till just lost his father about a week and a half ago, and I just want to offer the family our condolences, you know, for his loss and everything, and him being, you know, out of the country. It's really hard, you know. I just wanted to recognize him because I enjoyed him so much when he was base commander, and but I just wanted to offer him and Meg my condolences.
Commissioner Williams.
No comment.
Commissioner Daugherty. Commissioner Daugherty. Oh.
I'm thinking about my thoughts.
Oh, okay.
But at any rate, I do want to let everyone know that there has been a lot of hard work that has been going on behind the scenes in regards to trying to control the cost of the Rosewood project. In fact, all of our school projects. We put in place several years back a working group where commissioners and school board members meet and have some elevated comments and discussions on how to obtain these schools at the least price possible. And I appreciate Assistant Superintendent Tim Harrell mentioning that because he got a little heated in our last meeting.
A little.
But with that said, we finally have come to an agreement, and we're moving forward for an historic thing of replacing Rosewood Middle School. I look forward to actually cutting the ribbon on that in 2026. So I want to thank my fellow commissioners and the board members that from the school board that worked to make this thing happen. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Mr. Wayne.
Yes, only thing I want to bring up is, you know, at the last meeting, we had a public hearing on the merger of Polly Watson Fire Department and the Hunter, and it took effect September the 1st. Everything has run smooth. Several of their members has met the criteria to be on the Hunter Department, and we got the Hunter main station, and now the old Polly Watson station is in the Hunter Station 2. We've acquired not a new truck, but we've acquired a real good used truck to go over there to replace one of theirs that was basically out of service. But everything has run smooth. All the bank procedures has been done. Tri-County's been done. The only hiccup that we got right now is with Wayne Water. And I'm probably gonna get in trouble for saying this, but anybody that's ever dealt with Wayne Water knows what I'm talking about. I mean, all that's got to be done is transfer the account from Polly Watson to Nahana, and, we're almost having to go through the same procedures if we go through a divorce. So, that's my personal opinion of Wayne Water.
You done get yourself in trouble?
Huh?
No, just messing. I want to, say it again, we are blessed to have, quality and dedicated staff, to run our county. You know, county's a business is no better than its employees. So that's a major, they play a major part, or probably the part in our success. The next thing, we need to, keep our military, folks, in our thoughts and prayers with everything that's going on. We also, whatever political affiliation that you are, or whoever you want to vote for is that's your opinion and your choice. But this stuff of trying to assassinate our leaders has got to stop. I don't care who, it's not a political, thing. It's something that needs to stop. Next thing is, in the coming weeks, you'll start to see, some branding, I guess you'd say, signs, changing, on the bypass from Rosewood to Little Baltimore, moving from 70 bypass to I-42. That will be done in the next, depending on weather, be done in the next couple of weeks. So that will be, it might not move as fast as we probably want it to, but it will, it's been designated, interstate. So all of Wayne County, has interstate. Now we've got to work on, finishing I-42, to Moorhead, but we've also, have to work on 795, getting it ramped back up, to get it all the way to 40. So that's all I have. Anybody got anything else?
Yes,
Not?
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I shouldn't have asked that question, should I?
That's big news. I mean, the Highway 70 Corridor Commission has been working for too long to finally get that designation. It's one thing to have a shield where it says future, but Goldsboro, the bypass in Goldsboro, is the one that's going to be designated first, to be designated as interstate. And that's a milestone. It's a big milestone.
I think in Johnston County, they also mentioned about, the new business coming there because of the interstates. That was available to him, so hopefully this will bring more in too, as well.
Good news. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, meeting adjourned.